Hello, everyone. You're welcome to my YouTube channel, CEA Business Consult. If you are new here, I would like you to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. For some time now, CEA Business Consult has actually received a lot of WhatsApp messages, emails, and text messages from our clients and other people all over the world, asking us about different options or alternatives of immigrating to Canada. And so today we are going to discuss about 10 ways of immigrating to Canada. If you didn't know that, I would like to bring it to your attention that there are 10 different ways that you can immigrate to Canada. Now, let's get started. So the first way of immigrating to Canada is education. Did you know that you can immigrate to Canada through education? The question that somebody will ask is, how do I go about it? It's very simple. All you have to do is to get the right university and the right program. And if you contact CEA Business Consult, we'll be able to help you get the right university and then the right program that aligns with your career goals. And so if you want to immigrate to Canada, you can do that through education. A lot of people have actually migrated to Canada through schooling. You can decide to go and do a certificate program, which is 8 months or more. You can decide to do a diploma course, a graduate diploma, a degree program, which is 4 years or 3 years. You could also decide to do the master's program, which is 1 year or 2 years. You can also decide to do a PhD program, which is like 4 years or even more. And so if you want to immigrate to Canada, you can do that through education. All you get to do is to do the research, get the right university and then the right program, and just submit your application. Now, once you submit your application to the university, then the university will assess your qualifications and your credentials. And if you qualify to be admitted as a student, you'll be issued admission offer letter. And once you get the admission offer letter, you may be eligible to also get some sort of this bursary or scholarship, or let's say assistantship. And if you're not lucky, you may not get any scholarship attached to your offer letter. So as soon as you get your admission letter, some schools will require you to make a deposit in order for you to secure your seat in the program. If you're able to make the deposit and then you're able to secure your seat in the program, the next step is for you to apply for your student visa. And depending on the country you are applying from, it can take between 1 month to 3 months for your visa to be processed. And once you get your visa, you can quickly plan your travels and you can immigrate to Canada to study your program. So it's that simple. It's not difficult. You can immigrate to Canada through that process. The second option, or the second way you can migrate to Canada, is through tourism. We know that Canada is rich in oil and gas, and Canada is also a global leader in renewable energy. That is, if you are talking about clean energy, such as hydrogen, such as green transportation. You're also talking about solar panels. We are talking about hydropower. We are talking about gas and all that. Canada has a lot of beautiful landscapes that are good for tourists. And so if you want to immigrate to Canada, you can just apply for a tourist visa or a visitor's visa. All you have to do is to know where you are going, the province that you are going, and which aspect of tourist site that you want to go to. And once you get those information, you can just apply to the embassy that, hey, you want to go and visit this particular tourist site in Canada. And it will get approved, and you can immigrate to Canada. The third point, or the third way that you can immigrate to Canada, is through summer or exchange programs. I know many of you will be wondering that, hey, I am just an undergraduate student at a university. How do I get involved, or how do I get to Canada? I just want to let you know that you can immigrate to Canada through summer courses or exchange program. As I speak to you, we are in the spring semester, and summer usually starts in July all the way to September. And at this point, a lot of the universities in Canada do not run programs. And so what some of the universities do is that they will just have summer programs that would allow international students who are also undergraduate students or master's students or PhD students to come and study for a short duration. And so if you are a student studying a particular course in a university around the globe, you can take an opportunity to immigrate to Canada through the summer exchange program or summer courses. And so all you have to do is to look out for universities that are actually offering summer programs. Usually, summer programs are different, or summer courses are different from the normal school programs. But the summer programs, usually it can last between a week to 1 month, maximum 2 months. And so you can be a student and you can apply to come and study a particular course for just 1 week or 2 weeks or a month. And then when you are done, you can go back to your home country to continue your education. If you recently completed your bachelor's degree or your master's degree and you want to actually undertake a short course to advance your career or to gain more skill in a particular field that you have actually studied, then summer courses will be, or summer school will be, a better option for you. It is not difficult at all. You follow the same procedure as you have been following for applying for a study permit. But because you are not coming in as a student for a very long time, in this case, you will not be eligible to actually work because you are coming to attend a summer school. It is important that you understand the regulations that govern the summer school that you wish to attend. And so if you want to come to Canada, you can do that through the summer programs or through summer school. Let me just point out to you that at this point, we have a lot of universities in Canada that are actually going to run summer school. And so take advantage of the summer programs that a lot of the universities in Canada are actually running, and then submit your application to them. And once you submit your application to them, they will assess it, and they will give you an invitation letter for you to add it to your supporting document to apply for a visa. And once you get your visa approved, you can immigrate to Canada to undertake that summer school. The fourth point is conferences or seminars. Now, conferences or seminars have become one of the ways that people have been using to immigrate to Canada. Did you know that we have the 2023 International Conference of Nurses coming up in Montreal? Hey, We have a lot of conferences that are coming up in Canada that you can capitalize on to immigrate to Canada. So all you have to do is to just identify conferences in different fields. It could be climate change, it could be energy resilience, it could be healthcare, it could be technology, it could be computer science. All you got to do is to identify a particular conference that is actually happening in Canada. And then you apply for that conference and you pay the conference fee. Some of the conferences are actually free, but majority of them too are not also free. You pay for the conferences, and the organizers of the conferences will give you an invitation letter. When you get an invitation letter, you add it to your visa supporting document, and then you can apply for a visa. And once you get your visa, you can now travel to Canada. And so conferences or seminars, or so to speak, workshops, have become one of the ways that people can use to immigrate to Canada. Hey, students who are in school, this is the right opportunity for you to look out for conferences online. If you need help in getting to know emerging conferences that are taking place in Canada, you can reach out to CEA Business Consult via our email at ceabusiness.ca@gmail.com. ceabusiness.ca@gmail.com. And we would be glad to help you to be able to get conferences that are happening across Canada and how best you can rely or capitalize on those conferences to immigrate to Canada. And so don't forget that if you are a mid-career worker, you're a young professional, and you are thinking of upgrading your knowledge in a particular field, more particularly healthcare, climate change or environment, urban planning, or energy, or any other field that you are interested in, conferences or seminars could be one of the ways that you can actually use to immigrate to Canada. A lot of people have used conferences and seminars to get to Canada. And so if you did not know that you could use conferences and seminars to get to Canada, I wanted to bring it to your attention that it is one of the ways that you could use to immigrate to Canada. The next point, or number 5, is marriage. Marriage is very important, and it's one of the ways that you can use to immigrate to Canada. I know some of you be wondering that, hey, how can I use marriage to immigrate to Canada? It's that simple. If your spouse resides in Canada as a temporary resident or as a permanent resident or as a citizen, your spouse qualifies to bring you here to Canada to work. The qualification is that your spouse who is resident of Canada should either be on work permit or study permit, or should be a permanent resident, or should be a Canadian. And they can sponsor you to immigrate to Canada. Sometimes the person that you're in a relationship with, or you're in a relationship with, doesn't need to be your legally married spouse. The person could be your fiancé or your fiancé, or the person could be your common law partner, somebody that you have been in a relationship with for the past 1 year. The Canadian government considers that particular relationship as a legal relationship. And so if you have your spouse or your common law partner or your fiancé or your fiancé living outside Canada, you can sponsor such a person to immigrate to Canada. The next point that you can use to immigrate to Canada is to claim refugee status. We understand that the world is a global village, and because of politics and because of geopolitics, a lot of countries are actually facing challenges when it comes to political stability. And so some people have flew their countries to another country just to seek refugee status. And so if you have moved or you have actually flew from a country that is war-torn, zone or area, and you've moved to Canada, or you've moved to a place in Latin America, you can claim a refugee status. Not only people who are coming from politically unstable countries, but people who are members of the LGBTQ plus community, who are being victimized in other countries, who are being, chased and all that. You can immigrate to Canada to seek a refugee status. Not only that, but journalists too as well. If you're a journalist and you live in Ghana and you are being tormented by the government and you are not safe, your families are not safe, you can immigrate to Canada by claiming the refugee status. And so refugee status or refugee is one of the ways that you can use to immigrate to Canada. The next point that you can also use to immigrate to Canada is by investing some amount of money in the Canadian economy. In the past, in the 1980s, the Canadian government or the federal government launched a program called the BIP, or the Business Immigration Program, that allowed people who have an amount of $100,000 or $100,000 to immigrate to Canada by investing in the Canadian economy. Even though that program was canceled somewhere in 2014, you can still immigrate to Canada by investing in the Canadian economy. And so if you have money, you're a foreign investor or you're an investor and you have some amount of money, you can actually, immigrate to Canada through the business visa. And so you can come with a business visa and you can invest in the Canadian economy, and that could be an opportunity for you to also immigrate to Canada. So if you have some money, being idle and you're looking at a place that you can invest that money, you can, immigrate to Canada by coming in as an investor. Number 8 way that you can immigrate to Canada is through the express entry system. I know many of you have heard about the express entry program. It's actually a program that the Canadian government uses to recruit international talent or global talent to immigrate to Canada permanently. And there are 3 mainstream for the express entry program. We have the federal skilled worker program, and we have the federal trade worker program, and we have the Canadian experience class. In my next episode, I'll come and talk about the express entry program and how you can enhance your chances of being selected to apply for permanent residence and immigrate to Canada. And so you can fill the express entry profile on the Canadian government website, and if you're able to follow the score or the criteria, you can have the chance of being selected to apply for permanent residency, and you can immigrate to Canada. A lot of people have used the express entry system to immigrate to Canada permanently. And I would encourage you to work towards creating an express entry profile and building the score that you have. And if you're able to meet the criteria that the federal government wants, you can be selected to apply for permanent residence, and you can move your family to Canada permanently. The next point, which is number 9, that you can use to immigrate to Canada is through a job offer. Now, the Canadian economy is actually growing, and every day in and out, jobs are being churned out for people to actually, apply. Unfortunately, we do not have enough labor to fill the shortage that we have in the economy. And so, if you can find a job in Canada, or if you can find an employer who is willing to sponsor you, you can secure a job, apply for a work visa, and immigrate to Canada. More especially if you're in the healthcare sector, you can apply for a job wherever you are. And if an employer is willing to sponsor you, you can get employer-specific work visa and you can immigrate to Canada. So all you have to do is to do the research, get some of the job websites, look for the job opportunities or jobs that align with your career goals, jobs that you have experience in, do the application. If you're lucky and you get invited by an employer who is willing to employ you or recruit you, that employer would help you to be able to immigrate to Canada. The last point, which is number 10, that you can use to immigrate to Canada is a working holiday visa. And this is restricted to certain specific countries. And so if you're a national of or a citizen of any of the Schengen countries or any of the European countries, you're a citizen of India, you're a citizen of Japan, you're a citizen of Hong Kong, you qualify for the International Canadian Experience Class Visa. Now, the Canadian government has actually launched a program called the International Canadian Experience. So, with this, you can actually immigrate to Canada to come and work temporary. And if you're able to meet certain criteria eligibility requirements, you can extend your stay or you can change your status and become a permanent resident. And so with this, you need to be a citizen of certain specific countries. And you can learn more about this program by visiting the Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada website. And you can learn more about how you can immigrate from Europe to come and work in Canada. I hope that this particular program has really helped you to be able to appreciate the importance of, has really helped you to know the various ways of immigrating to Canada. And to recap what I've actually said, the 10 ways of immigrating to Canada are: 1, through education or schooling; 2, through tourism, or you can move here by coming to visit; 3, through summer school or summer courses or programs, and so it could be a short-term 5 days, 1 week, 1 month, short-term summer program, and you could apply for that program and then immigrate to Canada. 4, conferences or seminars or webinars that are in person, you can use that as a means to immigrate to Canada. 6, marriage. If your spouse, being a student or being a work permit holder or a permanent resident or a citizen, you can sponsor your spouse and your children to immigrate to Canada. 7, refugees. You can claim refugee status depending on the situation that you find yourself in. If you are coming from a war-torn country, or you are being abused, or your life is in danger, or your home country is no longer safe for you due to political instability, then you can claim refugee status, and that could be an avenue or an opportunity for you to immigrate to Canada. 7, you can immigrate to the 7th point is investment. You can invest in the Canadian economy. In that case, you can come in as a business investor. 8, express entry. You can create an express entry profile and fill in all your particulars. And if you meet the eligibility criteria, you can be invited to apply for permanent residence and you can immigrate to Canada. 9, job or work offer. You can look for a job online from a Canadian employer, and if the employer selects you or recruits you, that employer can help you to immigrate to Canada. Number 10 is the working holiday visa through a program called the International Canadian Experience Class. This program is restricted to just a few countries, and so you need to be a citizen of some European countries and some Asian countries, and you can immigrate to Canada through the working holiday visa. Thank you so much for watching me. Please share, like, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you need any help or assistance in terms of how you can use any of these routes to immigrate to Canada. Feel free to reach out to CEA Business Consult at +1 513 461 5804 on WhatsApp +1 513 461 5804, or you can send us an email at ceabusiness.ca@gmail.com. ceabusiness.ca@gmail.com. I'll encourage you to also visit our website at www.ceabusinessconsult.ca to learn more about our services and products that we offer. I hope to see you in my next episode. Thank you. See you later. Bye.